I suddenly realized that he successfully interrogated me. That I was becoming almost a Maoist.
What was the point that you realized that it is him manipulating you?
It was definitely attractive. The Adivasis in the forest area, they didn't get the dividend of their own land. Government was taking lots of things from them.
So they would recruit all from the villages itself.
It was a forced recruitment. I was in charge of the whole policing in Singur. The farmers started asking that you give us the money, but you do not tell us what to do with that money politically. The opposition parties, they jumped into this opportunity.
Right. There's a lot of hatred towards the police.
Why police was created? Who created police? It was created by the British to rule the country. Constables used to be recruited. They will sit in a row and their hairs will be cut like bati chhat.
A very prominent identity. So in a country like ours, we see a lot of high-profile cases which gain a lot of media attention.
The problem with the media was not properly trained.
So was there any cases that you got information from the media?
In 1-2 cases, even they went to the criminal.
So the red light areas, are these legalized places?
Yes, why not?
People can visit these places.
Please don't go there.
Thank you, sir, for coming again. It was a wonderful episode last time, and I hope we have a beautiful episode this time as well. How are you, sir?
Absolutely fine.
Sir, last time we touched on a lot of topics, right? So we would like to dive in a bit this time into individual topics. I know we won't be able to cover a lot in the limited timescape that we have. So just wanted to start off with, you had shared an experience that you had an encounter with the Naxalites. So starting with Naxalite, could you just explain what is their motive? What is the movement all about? And where do they exist in the country at this point of time?
At that point of time, I should say around 1995-6 to 2000, there was a Maoist corridor in India. It started from Nepal, Bengal, Chhattisgarh, part of Bihar, Orissa, northern Orissa, MP, and then Telangana. These are the states in which the Maoists used to work, especially in the forest areas. Their main concern was that the Adivasis in the forest area, they didn't get the dividend of their own land. Government was taking lots of things from them, but their area, it was not being improved. Not the logistics, not the roads or whatever it is.
Development was not there at all.
At that point of time, development was not there at all. And they started telling them that it is your forest. All the forest products are for you only. You are the original people of these forests. So you must get the dividend most. If you are not getting it, then you are deprived. So we are here to fight for you, because government means the state, so-called Rastro, and state has the police machinery. So we have to raise arms against the police, because as soon as you say something against the government, means the police will come and they will take recourse to atrocities on us. So you have to give, first of all, shelter to us. We will protect you from the government, from the state, from the police. And also your young people must join with us, train with us, and then we have to raise it.
So they would recruit all from the villages itself.
Yeah. It was a forced recruitment. Sometimes it was a willing recruitment. They could have successfully brainwashed the villagers, the poor villagers. And it started in these forest areas. So very soon they were in the forest areas of Bengal also, like part of Bakura, part of Purulia, and Paschim Midnapur. These are the places where they used to thrive on these things. On the other hand, you can say that it is not only because the deprivation was more in the forest area, it is also the forest could give them very successful shelter from police. There are less roads, most of the kacha roads. Kacha roads means they could have plotted the mines inside them. Paka roads, it's not possible. Then there are no roads at all, so they could take shelter easily. In the forests, police were not equipped and trained to be in the forests that time. So that was their strategic advantage.
So because they knew the terrain well,
Yeah,
so they had an advantage over
They
it.
knew the terrain, the villagers used to assist them, and the villagers used to give them shelter. Villagers were alienated from government and police because of there was no or less development in those areas. So they used to thrive on.
So the fight was against government because of lack of development that was happening, right?
They used to say it was a political fight.
Okay.
It was a political fight. It is a fight between the isms, these rightist politics, where the rich become richer and the poor is becoming poorer. They are going against this. It was their ultimate motive. But what turned out on the ground is actually they were extorting the villagers, they were forcing the villagers to be with them and brainwashing them that you will get everything, all sorts of things from us if you are with us.
So when they attacked, like did they attack normal citizens outside their region, or would they wait for police personnel or government personnel to come enter their area and they would attack? What was the attacking mode? Like how did they attack and create
in
chaos?
Bengal, I worked extensively in all three Maoist districts for a long time, and I worked against the Maoists also. But what I found is they were not much against the normal people, like the tourists or anybody. They are against the police people. If police people were taking themselves in camouflage, like we are the tourists, etc., and if they used to understand that, then they would have attacked them, kidnapped them, killed them, etc. Or they were directly against the police themselves, because rarely government officials used to go to the forests. They encountered police only. So they wanted to attack the police so that the police will not go deep inside the forest and they can go to villages and they can brainwash the villagers to be with them. So it was mostly it was against the police or the government machinery, but not against the ordinary people or common tourists who used to go into the villages.
How did they acquire fundings and weaponaries? Because police had more advanced weapon than them because they have the government behind them. Who supported them with financial support and weaponaries?
See, as I told you, they were coming right from Nepal to Telangana. So there may be lots of financiers for them. Even we suspect that there are some foreign financing also into them to destabilize the states and the countries also. But at the same time, they used to extort the people, and also they used to take the forest goods and sell them so that they can get money from the wood, they can get money from the forest. They used to extort the businessmen there. They used to extort the contractors. Suppose Kakrachur, there is a road laying process going on. So they used to call the contractor and said, we are not going to let you do this. You'll have to give us this much of money. So it's basically extortion, and definitely some foreign funding are there, and then some collection of money from here and from there, etc. This was the funding. And about the weaponry, it was not the question how good weapon you have. It is the question of how well you are trained. Like right now, if I give you an AK-47 and if I have the 9mm and there is a duel between you and me, you will be definitely 90% chance that I will win, you will be killed.
Yes, sir.
Because you do not know how to handle the AK-47.
Right.
So it is not a question of how modern a weapon is. It is a question of how well trained both physically and mentally. So I found that many of them are extremely dedicated, though they had the weapons which are far less qualities than us. But their dedication, their training and use of arms, etc., and intelligence also, the use of intelligence, these were at times were at match with us, or maybe sometimes they were even better than us.
So what kind of intelligence came into play?
So I'm telling you one thing. There was a camp in Binpur area. It's a big camp. Many constables are there, officers are there. So what they did, they in disguise one by one used to come into that camp.
Oh.
Like people who can work for the camp, say
Right.
cook, or maybe cleaning the camp, or maybe polishing the boots, cleaning the uniform, etc. And from there they used to take information and cater to the main group in the forest that at that point of the camp the arms were kept. That point of day and night they were slightly relaxed. Okay. This is the way they keep the sentry, and the weakness of the sentry is this. All these informations, the camp were completely ignorant that they were getting exposed to the group. And then suddenly, the time when it is least expected, during the daytime, just after the lunch, the camp was vandalized and almost more than 20-25 constables were killed.
Oh.
Their arms were taken and they simply left the camp. So it was a massive massacre.
So they would enter the camp disguising themselves, and also the villagers would provide them with a lot of information that was going on.
I shouldn't say the villagers. It is basically the people planted by them only.
Right.
But the camp couldn't recognize.
Right.
And you know, in Maoist operations, we used to tell our subordinates that, say, you expect the attack where you do not expect it at all, or maybe you expect it least. In one such operation, the then CM, he went to a village, I mean inside a forest, and then he was coming back. And police was very, very vigilant, completely careful. There are lots of police officers here, there, etc. Nothing happened inside the forest. No firing came from the forest. It was completely combed and cleaned. No ambush, no landmines, nothing. But as soon as the convoy reached the national highway and was taking turn and getting up into the national highway, there was an explosion.
Oh.
And that at that point, besides the road, there were no forests at all. It was only paddy fields.
It was empty, basically.
It was completely empty. But they chose this place. Why? Because police will be completely complacent. Here nobody can hide to cause the explosion.
Least expected area.
So it was our motto to train our officers that expect it most where it is expected least.
Right.
So that's the way we were combating the Maoists. But whenever we were forgetting this thing, this golden rule,
They would strike.
they would strike. There are explosions. We lost lots of our very good officers and
So
people.
would they take hostage and demand for few things from the government?
One or two things. Oh, no, not from the government. One or two cases they did take hostage, but they did not take any thing from the government. They demanded. It's not like that, but they did take hostage. Afterwards, they released also. They called the press also in front of the press. They told that this is our demand, this is this, this is this, this is this, whatever it is. But normally it's not like kidnapping and keeping hostage and give either you release them or that. It was not like that in Bengal at least.
So they would, what would their demands be? Like if they are not taking
Nothing.
hostages?
They wanted to change the system.
So by creating chaos.
Not by creating chaos. They didn't say it chaos. They were saying this is the seeds. This is the seeds of revolution. We are changing one village against the government, against the system, from 1 to 10, 10 to 100, areas to area, district to district. And from village, we will go to the urban areas. We will make people realize that you are not getting what you are wanted. Actually, you are exploited. Actually, you are extorted. So you have to raise voice. You have to come with us. You have to raise the arms. So it was a sort of change of systems they wanted. It's not that they wanted to take money or they wanted to take somebody into their custody and demand some release or some money or some fund. It's not like that. Okay, they did want the money. They had the demand of money because they used to buy weapons. They used to give their people. They used to feed them. They used to hide their peoples and etc. But their basic aim was, at least openly what is said, to change the system. But it's a big system, it's a big country. It was not so easy to raise arms against such a big country. So they could have been thwarted, but still there are quite a strong pockets, few pockets are there in India.
That's still active?
Yeah, in Chhattisgarh and part of Odisha.
You have been so close to all these encounters, right? You have been into several camps, you have faced them directly. Was there any encounter that you faced with them or any leader of them and you had an experience?
As I told you in the last episode, we had an encounter. I had faced 2 or 3 encounters, but our police force, my colleagues, etc., they faced quite a few very successful encounters. Like one I can tell you, it was he was DSP of Purulia. What happened is the Maoist struck in one of the villages to kill some leaders of a political party. But this officer, being intelligent, what he did is he didn't go to that village. He rather ambushed with his team beside the path through which possibly they can retreat. And they did retreat with that path, and there was a successful encounter. He killed some of the Maoists then and there only. So these sort of encounters were going on.
Did you have an opportunity to speak to some of them or interrogate some of them?
Yeah, many cases actually we arrested some people, but in one case, one state leader was arrested. His house was in Garbeta. He was arrested in Purulia. Then I was DSP headquarters at that time, so I was given the responsibility to interrogate him and find out which are the places they used to hide, what are the things they should do, who are his colleagues, etc. There are lots of data. So I went on speaking with him from evening till night, late night, and during the early morning hours around 3 or 4, I suddenly realized that he successfully interrogated me. And I was almost succumbing to his ideas, and I was becoming almost a Maoist.
So how did that happen? Like, what did he do and what did he say that, you are a trained officer?
When you interrogate somebody, it's not only that, it's not like an UPSC or WCS interrogation. Here what happens, you gossip with him. Like, what is his family, what was his history, why he went into this path, how he went into this path, what was his objective, what he wanted to achieve. So what happens at that time, you also leave some room as an interrogator, you also leave some room so that he can come close to you. If you put your hands crossed like Honorable Vivekananda, you cannot interrogate properly because there will be a distance between him and you. So you have to put your hands open, bare chested, and let him come inside your area. You have to let him come into your yard, into your room. So when he came there, we started saying about my childhood, my student life, my ideologies, etc. And slowly, he also started questioning me. And I was very conscious. But I was allowing him so that I can get something more. But after a few hours, I found that I was not getting much more from him, concrete. Rather, he is trying to mobilize me, or he is trying to influence me towards his path.
What was the point that, you realized that, it is him, manipulating you rather than you trying to manipulate him and get information?
See, Bengal is at one point of time, even now probably, they are quite romantic. And one of the most romantic political ideas is the leftist ideas. How practical it is, I am not saying you, but it was definitely attractive. Imagining a world where everybody gets their share properly, everybody is happy, it's definitely one of the most romantic ideas. How good it is or how practical it is, it's not that. So what he tried to prove to me that night, is that don't you like that sort of a world? And how do you think that is achievable? Is it achievable where the capitalists will try to maximize their profits? System will make the poorer more poor and the rich more rich? richer and richer. So these questions, when you are becoming honest, you have to become honest, because if you are not honest, you cannot get the honest reply from them. So then when I was replying very honestly that this should be there, this should not be there, etc. Says a blatant question is, don't you think, sir, after 50 years of independence, you are having so many villages without Pakka roads? You are having so many villages without school. You are having so many villages where the ration doesn't reach. You are having so many villages where the political leaders are the last boss. The administration, they do not know where the administration is. So will be my answer. It will be either it will be a false answer. He will simply smile and become silent. Okay, sir, now you are a police officer. You are not replying honestly. And if I reply honestly, then definitely it goes for him, because those things were not there. Now you find roads even to the remotest villages in Bengal. But at that point of time, it was not there. The people are very poor. I have seen many Adivasi people, they were thriving on only that sajna shak and rice. That was their everything. So we had to, and he had the points. Only thing I was very conscious, that, okay, fine, you are trying to do this and you are actually avoiding your questions. You are not giving proper reply. That I understood.
So
that's
then
all.
later on, did you leave that person, or was he present?
No. He was arrested. He was interrogated throughout the night, and then he was forwarded to court. He was in the court. Probably still now he is in jail, because it was raging war against a state is not so easy a crime. And there are so many evidences against him. So he was in jail. He was sent to jail and he was in jail. Probably he is still now in jail. But that interrogation, I found that they were quite convinced ideologically, ideally, and they were very, very intelligent to handle also.
So now, do they exist? And in spite of advanced weaponaries, like, why aren't they being removed from this entire country?
No, it cannot be. One is, if they are camouflaging themselves inside the villages, how do you know who is the villager and who is the criminal?
Right.
Who are they and who are villagers? You do not know. Number two, they are much more aware of the terrains, of the forests, where to hide, how to hide, where to ambush, how to put the mines, etc. So we are not much aware about them. And there are vast areas. The areas are too large. So even to catch one Bidappan, we had to wait for so many years.
Right.
So it is something like that. The jungles are very dense. There are very deep forests, vast area. Communication is very, very bad. People are very friendly. So these are the things for which it happened. But slowly, they were minimized. Now the pockets are becoming less and less in number. So they are being concentrated into some places. But still they are strong at some places in some states.
And they're still active.
They are still active at those places at least.
So you were in the forefront in the Tata Nano project that was taking place in Singur. So there was a lot of conflicts. And then in few datas I also saw there were lives lost, like around 100. So what is your take? Because you were there in the forefront. Could you just take us through the entire journey? Like, what happened? Why was the conflict happening?
So Krit, it's a long journey. So maybe it will not be possible for me to give you all the details. But what I can tell you is that, yes, I was in charge of the whole policing in Singur from the beginning to the end. I was there. I was the witness of lots of things happening there. The very first thing is that Tata was allowed to set up a factory there of a modern car, small family car factory. So Tata wanted land. The government then thought that they will take the land from the farmers, they will give compensation to the farmers, and then they will give it to the Tata, and Tata will set up the factory. Fine. Up to this, it's fine. Now the question is, suppose somebody has 3 bigha of land there, With this 3 Vigha, for last 20, 30, 40 years, he was raised by his parents. Now he has raised his children. In Singur area, around the project area, less than 10% houses were mud or thatched houses. All others were pakka houses. So they were quite rich farmers, because the land in most cases were, they used to call it 3 fasla jomi, 4 fasla jomi, meaning that you have 3 crop, multi-crop land. The question is, the farmers started asking that you give us the money, but you do not tell us what to do with that money. I cannot open a shop. All the farmers there cannot open shops in their villages. Who will buy then? Everybody is seller. You are not guiding us to invest the money somewhere. You are not giving us job there also. We are not qualified. This is a semi-automated factory. Jobs will be for the qualified people. Our children are not that qualified. What will they do? Okay, there are lots of answers from the end of the Tata or the government, but the villagers were not taken into confidence, and it was not confided to them what they would have done after getting this money. This is one thing. Second is, if you have the land and if there is this factory, then your land will be like gold. If there is not the factory, the compensation is very little. But if somehow I can save my land, and if the factory also grows, then my land, the price of my land will be manifold within years, because it is just beside the factory. So every farmer wanted, let's save my land at least. Let's save my land. If my land is out of the project, then I am the richest person in this area. So that is one more thing. Third is, there were lots of lands there which were not multi-crop land. So those lands could have been taken. But government tried to do things very hastily. So they did not try to find out the feasibility of getting other type of lands like Jala Jomi or etc. whatever. They did not try. They were forced to take these lands which are also having multiple crops in 1 year. Now, politically, the opposition parties, they jumped into this opportunity.
Right.
They gathered the farmers and they told, okay, no forced taking. It will not happen. Farmers cannot be deprived of the land even in lieu of money. Government told that we are giving money for a greater cause. And the opposition party, they started saying, no cause can be greater than the livelihood of a farmer. If you have to do it somewhere else. Now their take was that the company wants something very near to the airport. That's none of their business. If the company wants something near to the airport, then you find somewhere else. You can find somewhere else. And sometimes they are quite logical. There are vast lands in Newtown area. It could have been there only. Instead of going to Singur, even Newtown area is near airport. I'm not saying that Newtown would be the best or better, not that. But the point is, there are lots of lands which are close to this area. So why taking those fertile lands? So the movement started. Once the movement started, because it was a vast land, 96 acres or something like that. So they needed lots of police to guard them. First there was a wire fencing around the land. Then there is boundary wall. So they need lots of police. When there is wire fencing, at that point of time, some political people, they used to raid some villagers who used to help the police. Suppose I have 400 police officers. 400 means 100 police officers in one shift, because the night shift officers will take rest in the next daytime. So it is 4 shifts basically. So 100 officers only. 100 constable or officers is very, very minimum for this whole area. The boundary only was 14.2 kilometers. I used to walk it at least once a day So it is more than 14 kilometer only the boundary, and this boundary must be protected.
Hmm.
Out of this, around 9 kilometer, it was on the village side. So that should be protected also. So what they used to do, especially from evening to dusk, there are some villagers were taken who used to gather somewhere, a group of them, and they used to guard it. One incident happened, one girl, she was raped, murdered, and burnt. And that was also inside the project area. That time the wire fencing were there, and there are some cutouts in the wire fencing so that the villagers can come inside and go outside for their own necessity. So this lady was found dead inside the project area near village called Barabedi. I do not know exactly who did it, because the case was initially investigated from the very beginning. It was investigated by CID and then it was taken by CBI. CBI put charge sheet also, but in the charge sheet also they also couldn't pinpointed name who did it. But definitely there were a charge sheet against some leaders for conspiracy against this. This incident happened. This was a big blow to the government also, to the administration also, this incident, and to the whole movement also. The opposition could gather momentum with this incident, with this death. It was there.
So, what point did it escalate? And there was a lot of conflict between the police and the villagers. Was there a particular point that was a turning point that escalated the entire conflict?
Singur was going very steady. Almost every day there was law and order. Almost every alternate day, very big leaders of TMC, they used to go there. They used to court arrest. But to certain extent, the escalation was to certain extent every day. It was not that police had to take recourse to firing, because there was not a single round was fired from police side, neither from the village side.
But so there are claims that rubber bullets and live bullets were also fired.
I was telling about the bullets being fired, normal bullets. It was not, no bullets were fired. Rubber bullets were tried once or twice, but as it was found to be hurting villagers also, so those also were not used in Singur movement by police. Police, mostly it was lathi, and many times it is tear gas cells and tear gas guns and cells, grenades, etc. Tear gas grenades. So no lethal weapon were used during the for the Singur movement. No lethal weapon was used by the police. It was almost like in the last 8 months, it was like they used to come to the wall and break it. If they could do, they will be successful. And police used to stop them so that they cannot come to the wall. It was fight up like the wall, probably say Berlin Wall type. And it was a thing like that. You will stop you coming to the wall, and they are trying to take at least one brick from the wall so that they are successful that we broke the wall. It became almost a symbolic fight. Okay, there are lots of other things, movements, there are processions, there are villagers coming, there are law violation, blockade on the Durgapur expressway for days and days. There are lots of meetings going on, but not highly escalated law and order problem, like the firing was there, etc., etc. It was not like that. What happened is, one day, it was raining, it was profusely raining. Some of the people who were working in Tata Metalics, they were coming out by a bus, and the bus was stopped by some agitator villagers. In the evening, police rushed there. Within 15-20 minutes, the villagers had been removed and the bus was let to go. Nobody was injured, nobody was beaten up. But somehow the authority who were building this factory, they thought that they will not proceed further. They immediately declared that we are stopping this and we are going away from Bengal. So that's how it stopped.
So the escalation stopped.
Yeah. It is not that somebody was killed, somebody was hospitalized. Leaders were arrested regularly and they were released on bail regularly. So nothing at the final point when it was declared by them that we are not proceeding with the factory, at least that point of time, that day, that evening, that night, or maybe night before or the evening before, nothing exceptional happened. What was happening for the last few months, that only happened, nothing else. But they decided that it cannot carry on, it cannot go on like this. So it stopped there only. After that, though, they decided to go away from Singur. So it's a win for somebody, it's a loss for somebody, that's all.
So there's a lot of hatred towards the police when it comes to common people. Why is that so? Like, why do people see the police force?
Let's go to the origin of this. Why police was created? Who created police? Okay, police was created by Sirsa. But this effective police, it was created by the British. Why police was created? To rule the country, country of the natives. So the ruler is the British and the ruled is the natives and the machine is the police. So what they decided, that the police must be hated by the natives and police also must in turn hate them. And from the very beginning of training, it was done very purposefully, meticulously, intelligently. During British time and even after independence for many years, constables used to be recruited, brought to the police training college, and they will sit in a row and their hairs will be cut like this quote-unquote bati chhat, so that you can recognize he is a constable, training constable. Why? Why do you need it? You can make it sober, like today, what we are doing. For many years we are doing now. Okay, it's a sober cut. Why you have to make it so ridiculous, so hilarious, so insulting, and also identifiable? He is a constable. He is getting a training. देखो ना उसका बाल देखो.
A very prominent identity.
Identity, and that too something derogatory. So when they used to go to the market, people know, oh, it's a police. So this used to give both effects. One is that constable sees hatred into the eyes of the society, and in turn he also starts getting alienated from the society. So the British successfully did this. Next, when police used to start working after the training, if police becomes sympathetic to the natives, it would have been bad for the British. So they had to make something so that people fear police and people also hate police. So there are these third degrees, these massive tortures to this, to get confession, etc., etc. They were never trained to get confession other way. They knew that he should be hanged upside down and beaten up to get the confession. And when people have seen this, there are stories of so many freedom fighters, so many revolutionaries who have been tortured to the maximum. Needles are put inside the nails of these revolutionaries. There are so many methods of torturing them. So people started getting disgusted. The people have hatred. Now, let's go to something more theoretical. What do people actually are afraid of? I thought a lot. If I am asked that what are you afraid of? If you are not a police officer, what are you afraid of? I am afraid of losing my freedom of movement. Remember when you were a child, sometimes your parents will tell, come here, go to that corner of the room, face to the wall, stand there. Half an hour you will not look back. You wouldn't like it.
Right.
Because your movements are getting restricted. So if I tell you, Sukrit, you are not supposed to, or you will not move out of this flat for 1 month.
I'll go mad.
You will go mad. You will not like this. Who has the power? The official state-sponsored power, state-backed power to to restrict my movement? Only police. Only police can force you. No, you cannot cross the road everywhere, only in the zebra crossing. You cannot go on the right side of the road. You have to go there only. So inherently, you will not like it. Your restriction of freedom of movement can be caused by this agency. So you will not like it. So people will not like this thing. They can tell you, no, sir, because you are here, so we have discipline, such as discipline movements, etc., etc. But inherently, it's a disliking for the police. And police did not realize it for many, many years that actually we are at the negative end. We are doing so many good things to the society. Then also societies are being afraid of. Then also mothers are telling the children, Dagbo, police ke, Singur khene. So basically it is because of that dislike. If you are taken to the police station, people will used to call me, sir, will they release my son tomorrow morning? No, your son will be forwarded to court. Sir, from court will he be released? People are not saying that whether police will beat him up. People are not afraid to that. People are afraid that whether he should be released or he should be confined. So this power of confinement, at least according to me, this power of confinement of people by the police, this power also backed by state. So the Rashtra giving the power, the state giving the power to the police to restrict your movement. So you will definitely have a deep disliking for the police, and you will express it the moment you get an opportunity. So it is an added responsibility for the police to not to give such opportunity. And we fail many times and many occasions to be foolproof there. And so we get the wrath, we get that dread, and that comes out, that sprouts from that deep disliking that comes out in those situations.
So there is a perception that, if today I am facing a problem and if I go to the police, it's a hassle, first to register the complaint and then, whether police will help or not. Is this true? Do you agree? Or is it very easy, for the people to come in and, things, they get helped by the police?
As you said, you probably inadvertently use this word, perception. It is a perception, but then I must insist that this perception did not come out from the blue.
Right.
It's not that it came out from nowhere. People do experience some sort of apathy from the desk of the police station. So there are lots of attempts from the government nowadays for the last 15-20 years, from many superior officers with their individual imagination, power, etc., to make this desk more friendly to the people coming to the police station. Things are changing. You are getting lots of people are getting good things from the police station. What's our problem? Person who is getting seldom writes into the social media that he has got something from the police. It may be 1 out of 1,000. But persons who are not getting, they write immediately in the social media that my behavior from the police officer to me is so wrong, so bad. Why? Because they went with an expectation, and also in most cases people go to the police station when they are really mentally distressed, like they lost their girl, the son has not come back late at night and they lost a mobile phone which contained almost everything of theirs. Some theft has happened in our house. Somebody has been kidnapped. Somebody has been murdered. So these are the cases where the person wants empathy, wants compassion first. He knows that if he goes to the police station, immediately police will go and catch the thief by the collar. It is not possible. It is known to everybody. But the thing he wants is, sit down, please sit down. Have a glass of water. Tell me what happened. I'm writing it down. I'm jotting it down, please. How it happened, where it happened. I'm really very sympathetic. Okay, it's your girl. Oh, actually, your boy is not returning. Where has he gone? This empathy in the voice, which soothes somebody, this is required. Wherever they get it, they do not think that police is not doing anything. Afterwards, they can say that police could not catch, police did not do this, police did not do that, etc., etc. I'm very, very hopeful, and I'm also quite happy that in the last 10 years I found that many police officers are actually learning this and they are showing empathy. There are many people, hundreds of people, they are getting good things, good behavior, good reaction from the police. Okay, fine, we have to fine tune us much more. As I told you, it's a century old problem. I think we will definitely improve. Another next 10 years will be, we can up to the expectation, we can rise up to that expectation.
So in a country like ours, we see a lot of high profile cases which gain a lot of media attention, and they scrutinize each and every process that you are taking, right? Each and every step they are taking updates and scrutinizing the police people. So have you encountered such a case where there was a lot of media attention, and how did you deal with it?
Many.
So could you just share?
As I told you, I was STP of 5 subdivisions. Very few DSPs used to be STPs, and that too in 5 subdivisions. I was additional SP in 2 districts for a long year. I was SP of a district, DIG of a big zone, a big range. So many incidents happened which have been taken by the media, and at times some media trials started, etc. The problem with the media was, at least when I was there, the problem with the media was not properly trained. Lots of things they shouldn't divulge, even if they knew from somewhere, but they shouldn't divulge, because that would have alerted the criminal. Lots of things they did not understand at all.
So, like?
Somebody is arrested. They do not know the difference between arresting somebody and apprehending somebody. Arresting somebody and interrogating somebody. What are the rights of the police? What are the rights of the citizen? It was many times I found the people, ordinary people and the media also, they are not well equipped with these ideas. They do not know what is the difference between this and that. What is grievous injury and what is plain injury. By definition of law, what is grievous injury and what is plain injury, they did not know. So this lack of knowledge, that used lots of confusion in their reporting. But the problem is they are reporting mobilizing. They were mobilizing actually people. So they should have been more responsible. They should have known things in a deeper way, deeper sense.
Is there any case that you faced a lot of problem due to media?
As I told you, there are many incidents where the media persons, they probably would have created lots of problems. But in my cases, my style was different. From the very early beginning of my profession, I learned that I have to deal with the media in a different way. You'll be surprised to listen that just 7-8 days back, one media person contacted with me after many years and told, "Sir, we had a nice time." He was with me from the Singur period. I told, "Why?" He said, "You have a unique way to deal with us." So what I used to do is, I used to call the media persons personally, give them all the details which wouldn't have hampered the investigation, but which he should know before reporting. Now there are differences with other police officers from me. Their views is, who is this media person? I am not supposed to give him anything. I will do my job, I will go, I will investigate, I will arrest, I will charge it, I will punish that. I will make arrangements so that he is punished. Yes, boss, it's okay. But you have to think also that it is not that British period. It is not 15 years back. Now we have a very, very strong social media where the media trial is going on. The people's opinions are mobilized. So we also must be very careful about dealing with this. Okay, we do not have a media person. All police officers tell this to the medias individually. We do not have a centralized media person who makes a press briefing, etc., etc. So what my philosophy was that I will call the media person who is damaging the situation because of his or her less knowledge. And I used to share my knowledge with him or her. See, this is what happened. And this is the help from you I require so that I can grab this criminal. Only for a good purpose, I want you not to flash this news. I know that you have access to this news already. For example, I have found the mobile number by which the criminal has caused the crime. If it is flashed into the media, that criminal, the mobile he is using still now, so I am tracking the mobile, he will stop it. So in that case, I would have called the media person, maybe 2, 3, 4 of them. Please, not today. Give me 24 hours. Let me track the mobile. Let me go near the criminal, catch him, and then you can tell. I know that you have already got it, not from me, but from other sources. Somebody from my team only leaked probably. This worked. This worked a lot. If you could have taken them into confidence honestly, and if you could have made them understand that basically for the crime, you are trying to do this. You are taking their help. At least in my life, I was helped by the media persons too many times and too much. So they could be controlled positively also.
So in your case, the communication that you had with them, that benefited you in a lot of ways. So was there any cases that you got information from the media?
Lots.
They were with you?
Yeah.
And they helped you crack the case?
In 1, 2 cases, even they went to the criminal. Like in Maoist cases, I will not name this reporter. This reporter was so bold. He used to go with a camera alone inside the forest to take interview of them. And coming back to me, he used to say, so this is this, there is this tree, and after half a kilometer there is this tree. On the left I met this person. They didn't know that this reporter has done this. There are lots of such things. Medias, we didn't send them. They used to go on their own and they came back and told us that this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. In Singur also. In Singur also, many times the media persons, the villagers used to tell the media persons, come this side, come like in front of the Dugachia village. Today around 3 o'clock we will be there, we will throw bricks and stones, they will also come, police also come, we will get good views. So the media person used to tell us, yes, sir, Dugachia village, today 3 o'clock, there will be an incident. So we had a very good relationship. I also had a very good personal relationship with the media person, and they used to help us a lot.
In human trafficking, like Kolkata or West Bengal is considered on the top.
Bengal has a very porous border. Right from Nepal to Sundarban, we have a very porous border. So the traffickers use this border to get young children, young girls, sometimes boys also. And then also in the villages, at least 10 years back, I'm telling you, till 10 years back, the village ladies were not self-sufficient economically. Nowadays there are lots of self-help groups. They were getting money from government also, like Lokit Bandar, etc. They are making their own poultries, they are making lots of cottage industry, etc. So they are quite economically.
And self-sufficient, right?
Self-sufficient. The school-going girls, the number has increased a lot, like Konyasri project, etc. The midday meal, the successful implementation of that. The people are going to the school. But look, 10 years, 15 years back.
This was not the scenario.
This was not the scenario. So it was easy to lure them into being trafficked. And then they used to be sent mostly to the central India and western India. Some in North India also. So see, the trafficking destination was not Bengal. And the trafficking not also started mostly from Bengal. So Bengal, you can say, was the path. It was the intermediary path through which it can go on. So anything smuggled across the border will definitely go through the Bengal only, no?
Because the borders are aligned.
Like the fake currency. Mostly it was coming from other countries, other neighboring countries of Bengal. So it is not that Bengal is making fake currencies. It is going through Bengal. Okay, fine. You can say that Bengal's people only are doing that. Yes, they were. But the question is that They used to take it because they used to go to the other states for other employment. So they are the easy carriers. Lots of people used to go from Bengal to other states. So they could carry it easily. So like that. Human trafficking also. The trafficking started from across the border, mostly in some villages of Bengal also, but now it is decreasing. And they used to be trafficked somewhere else.
So is sex work and prostitution legal in our country?
Yes, it is.
It is.
It is. But they must be doing it on their own will, and they must be above 18 years.
Okay. So there should not be a third person related to the
They
work.
cannot be forced. They cannot be forced. They cannot be extorted.
There can't be a middleman.
There can be middlemen.
But when I research, sir, they show that if you as a person are willing to do sex work on your own, that's allowed. But then if there's a middleman who is dealing with you and earning money out of
No, that is extortion.
Yeah.
That is extortion. But see, middleman exists like this. Suppose now you want to get a job somewhere. So there might be a sort of people who will take you and give you that job. So he is the middleman. He is getting some money, either from you or from the person to whom he is taking you. So that sort of middleman exists in all professions, like in that profession also. Okay, somebody cannot thrive on the money earned by the prostitution. That is basically PETA Act. So that cannot be there.
So the red light areas, like we have one of the largest, Sonargachi. And so are these legalized places?
Yes, why not?
So people can visit these places?
Yes.
Legally?
Please don't go there.
No, sir. I was just curious to know whether it's legal or not.
I used to read, I'm not exactly used to. I went to Sonargachi twice. Once, the lady helped me so much that I and one of my officers, we were hiding under the cot for the client. The client was the criminal.
So you were waiting for someone.
You are waiting for that client. The client finally came and the lady closed the door from outside and went. Then we caught him and then the lady opened it and we brought him back to the police station. They used to help us a lot.
Sir, as you were posted in Malda, so there are a lot of cases of illegal cultivation of poppy seeds, through which a lot of drugs can be made. Could you shed some light on it?
See, I was in Malda for almost 4 years. 2.5 years as additional SP and 1.5 years almost as SP. Malda is a big district and there were lots of cultivation of illegal poppy. What they used to do is either they used to cultivate it along the river banks where actually there are no roads, it was inapproachable. And many a times what they used to do is in a field they used to put bhutta along the periphery of the field and poppy inside so that from outside you cannot see what's there inside the ground. But poppy cultivation is completely illegal without permission from government. So this Central Narcotic Department, what they used to take photograph from satellites. Poppy flowers are very bright. So they used to take the photographs of the fields and they used to give this information to us. We used to go there, seize it, destroy it completely, burn them, destroy it completely. And government used to give reward money to the police team. It was almost an official, not almost, it was an official reward money, a certain percentage of the market value of the things seized there. We used to arrest also people who are responsible into this. And this has decreased. This has decreased a lot due to this because we were getting information through satellites, etc. Otherwise, the villagers, especially the small children, were also involved to collect the gum from the poppy fruits, from which they would have distilled it and to make opium, heroin, brown sugar, etc. So there are vast lands there. We used to raid there. It is decreasing. It is decreasing very fast nowadays. But that time it was there, very much there.
Where were these smuggled? Also across our country or only within?
Yes, across our country.
What were the major countries who were buying all these?
Let me tell you that this chain could not have been established at least by police, because we used to work inside the boundary of our country. The Central Narcotic Department, they would have known this chain, where it would have gone. But mostly what we found is it was distilled to some extent in India only, and it used to go to the eastern part of India. That is not India, but outside India. And from those countries, they would have smuggled to
Rest of the world.
Mostly South America, North America.
So demands are very high.
Demands is very high, and they are very, very costly also, very precious also, and it's a big chain also. It was a big chain.
So throughout your career, there are days when you'll have to wake up and go to a crime scene and see really disturbing visuals. Because we can relate, when we are passing by roads, sometimes if we see a man dead or, some visually disturbing scenes, it haunts us for days. You being into the crime scene for so many years, have witnessed these for several
Decades.
Yeah, decades. So how do you cope? Like, do you have nightmares? And if you have, or what are the processes that you follow that, to stay sane?
When I was young, even young as a boy in class 7, 8, 9, 10, I used to vomit as soon as I would have fetched blood. Any accident, even if I fell down from somewhere and I am bleeding, I used to have this problem, this nauseating problem, seeing the blood. But then I came into a profession where I used to see it almost regularly. What happened is, actually, it happens to most of the police officers of all ranks. You get used to it. You have a feeling of detachment. And sometimes it looks to you people who are not professional, who are not police officers, it looks odd also. Like, say we are dealing with dead bodies, we are dealing with injured people, like a train accident, suppose. So there are so many people we used to bring them from the compartment, put them there, then in the ambulance were running, then again another body, another living man, another injured man. But after 5, 6, 7 hours, we used to take some food also, because we knew that throughout the night we will work. So it is amazing to you, or it is sometimes it is very surprising to you that how can the police do these things? They are doing the work also at the same time, because we learn that we have to keep our energy full, because you have to work. We have to work throughout the night. We have to work maybe the day after. So it is a sort of detachment, which you can say this is a professional expertise, or professionally we get more detached with them from the things, etc. So now what happened is, after in this profession for 4 or 5 years, I suddenly realized that yes, even the most grievous accidents, people on the road, etc., we can keep our cool and take decisions accordingly. That degree of keeping cool definitely differs with the officers, individual officers, but most of us in our ranks, etc., we can keep ourselves very cool.
So basically, with time, you get used to and also train yourself consciously
It's
or
like doctors,
subconsciously that you don't get attached to it.
Yes.
You guys are detached with whatever is happening, and then it has to be taken care of.
It has to be taken care of.
So in a vast country, recently also we have seen major accidents happening in the road, whether it be high-end cars or on a regular basis for normal common people also. Whether they are at fault or not, they are attacked, and sometimes they are also severely injured and also cause death. What is your take on it? What should people do when they face such circumstances? What are the first few steps that they should take so that they can avoid these conflicts?
See, the accidents can be divided into different categories. So one is vehicle to vehicle, like fast moving vehicle to fast moving vehicle, the head-on collision or something like that. There both the persons are injured. People are not really angry with any one of them. They try to rescue. Normal situation is this. Then this vehicle to person, there people have lots of sympathy to the person. The rule fixes thus or forces us that if I am the driver, I must take care of the injured. I cannot run away with the vehicle, or I cannot simply leave the vehicle and run away. If I tries to take the injured into my vehicle or take care of this person, then in most cases, the people on the road are not angry with us because they try us to take the injured to the hospital. At the best, some of them can accompany me in the vehicle. It happens when I try to escape. If I caught, then people become angry, or if I kill somebody also. See, there are lots of awareness is going on, especially in the towns and metropolitan towns nowadays. You will find many civic volunteers, etc., assisting the traffic police in main joints, etc. So police also, they also rush very fast, almost in no time. So these road rage incidents going to the fatal degree, where the driver is killed or driver is beaten to death, this is increasing. This is increasing to a great extent. I think little more awareness will help us to.
So from childhood, we have heard that if there's any problem and if you want to contact the police, dial 100. But there are different numbers for different reasons, like for children facing crime, for women facing crime, or cyber crime, for say. There are different numbers. So could you just, for our audience, could you just share the numbers?
Yes, Sukrit, we have many such numbers. One is definitely the 100 dial. 100 dial nowadays, it is there throughout Bengal, and in Kolkata it has been upgraded to that extent where it can even find out where you are exactly, and they can send the police there for your distress. Then there is 1098, which is a child helpline. If you get any child abandoned, not getting some help, or you think that he is being trafficked or etc., then you can call this number 1098. Then there is 1930, which is a very important number nowadays, because whenever you are a victim of cybercrime, you have to call 1930 immediately. Throughout India, this number is there, but from where you call, your number will be received by here in Kolkata officers only, and they will take action immediately. Then there is 1091, which is for the dedicated ladies only. For women who are in distress, they can call this 1091 also. And there is 1090, which is for crimes probably. Not probably, it is for crimes only. But if you call 100, then it is not necessary that you have to call also 1090, but you can definitely take help of these numbers. There is an app called Bondhu for Kolkata people. Bondhu is, the spelling is Bondhu. I am repeating, the spelling is Bondhu. You should download this app. This app has many advantages. You can find out the parking places. You can find out most of the pujas, most of the markets, whether the road is closed for the time being or not, etc. All sorts of information. But besides that, the most interesting part is, as soon as you open the app, there is a red button, emergency button. If you click that button, immediately a distress SOS goes to Lal Bazar, who can know your location and send police assistance immediately to you. Also to some 3 or 4 phone numbers which has been pre-assigned there by you. They also know that you are having some sort of distress somewhere, so they also get your GPS location and a distress message. So these are the things you can take care of.
Are these numbers all applicable throughout our country, or is it only applicable for West
Most
Bengal?
of the numbers are applicable throughout the country, like this 100 dial, this 1098, this 1930, etc. And for Kolkata, this Bondhu app is there.
So there are concerns regarding the police that they don't arrive on time, they're always late. And there are in countries like a friend of mine stays in Dubai, and the police arrives within 2.3 minutes. And in other countries also, the times are more or less around that time only. So, but out here, what is the scenario? Why is police always late? Or in some instances, they might not even come. Does that even happen?
No. If you have something on road, police attends it very fast, even at your home. If you are in distress, if you call 100 dial, etc., actually the time is decreasing very fast. We are making a target nowadays to make it within 5-6 minutes. And the problem with other countries and Dubai, etc., whatever you're saying, is first the road condition, because the roads are too good, communication is too good, there are no traffic jam or etc. This is one thing. Second is definitely the population.
Right.
The population. Third is the streets. Because you go deep inside the streets becoming thinner, and there are lots of things on the streets. You take lots of time to reach the spot. It's there.
And tracking the location is also
Tracking
very
the
difficult.
location is also very difficult. But now, thanks to Google, we are now reaching it very fast. So we are also decreasing time, and we are also becoming very efficient. Okay, it is definitely not on an average 2 and 3 minutes. It's slightly more than that. But we can achieve this, I think, in future.
So with the changing of time, the crimes are also changing. So if you have to say to our audience, like, what are the crimes that they should be aware of right now? Because technology is changing very fast. Everything is changing very fast. So could you just explain what we should be aware
See,
of?
nowadays, for the last maybe 2-3 years, the crime which is happening most probably is cybercrime. And almost all sorts of people from every sect of the society, they are becoming victim of cybercrime. So we must be aware of the situation. We must be aware of the preventive things, preventive actions taken. How can we prevent ourselves from being a victim of cybercrime? And we should be aware in how many ways the cybercrime can happen to me. What are my faults? Because you have to do something. You have to do something, maybe very small, so that the cybercrime gets your door open to go inside your things and steal things, either the money or maybe your reputation or whatever it is. So I think you have to be very aware about the cybercrime, because it is going to assume a greater proportion in near future.
So are there any steps taken by the government or the police to raise awareness among the common man?
Yeah. Government and police hand in hand, they are making people aware. Going to schools, going to colleges, to different organizations. There are lots of literature produced by government. Lots of ads you will find in TV also to make yourself aware about the governments. Lots of SMSs are coming to the people. So there are people are getting also aware. People definitely are getting. But as people are getting aware, the cyber criminals also, they are also changing their modes. So you have to be very careful about this.
So it was lovely speaking to you again, and really looking forward to see you again in another episode, because the talks are not getting over. And thank you so much for today's
I also enjoyed this session fully.